Howdy everyone, and welcome back to the Luna Geeks Out channel. Today is a bit of a sad day for the reactions because we are checking out BABYMETAL, always exciting, always a good time, and we're checking out The Legend, which I've heard is quite the cool song. But it's the final song on the other one. We have reached the end of our journey with this album. We do have one more BABYMETAL reaction on the way, their first take performance, which should be out in a couple days, but oh, it is sad to reach the end of this album. It's been just an incredible journey, aside from a video for Metalized releasing right after I react to the song, which is just perfect timing. Aside from that, it's been an incredible journey. I am very sad to have reached the end of it. But if this song lives up to what I've heard about it, it will be quite the fantastic end. So, yeah, I don't have any more rambling to go down, so without further ado, let's hop into it. I think that's electronics there, got very subtle. Did y'all see that? Okay then, I was saying very subtle strings in the background there as well, which is very cool. Bit of a, atmospheric approach so far. Actually reminding me of, Do You Wish That You Loved Me, which we checked out last time. Just beautiful vocals. Slower song so far, which is desperately needed on the album to break it up a bit further. Okay. Keeping very similar vibes, but so much more happening. Very, very cool. Excellent transition there as well. Really nice drums there. Nice guitar in the background. Oh, those backing vocals. That's beautiful. Great guitar throughout that section. This really weird but really cool sounding synth again that we had at the intro. Bit of a shift here. Giving me Devin Townsend vibes. Not sure what song, but one of the ones off of Empath, I want to say. Nice guitar right there. Pick it up on the bass a little bit, that's nice. Okay. Bit of a guitar solo in here. Very nice, very nice. Oh, that is nice right there. I unfortunately knew the saxophone was going to be in the song, but oh, that was a lot sweeter than I expected it to be. Oh. Back into this incredible chorus. Oh. Bit of a callback to We're the One there, which a lot of folks made comparisons between Legend and the One. Of course, I was the other one. So yeah, fitting callback, I guess. There's a different word I'm looking for. A fitting similarity. I don't know. There's a word I'm looking for. Yeah, very good. Nice fade out at the end. One of the stronger song endings on the album, I think. Just very, very masterfully done fade out there. Yeah, super cool song. Super cool song. And we've reached the end of it. Oh, again, sad to be at this point, but oh, what an ending that was. But before I dive into the specifics of the song, of course, let's quickly talk about the lyrics. And at this point, I should apologize for lighting in this video. Again, I'm getting to this one, unfortunately, a little late in the day. Today, even later, because there was a big snake out in the yard, so I had to go and see that. My dog was barking at it. He wasn't happy. The snake was a friend. I've gotten sidetracked. Yeah, I'm late today, so lighting is a little rough. But anyways, lyrical analysis. I'm gonna start off talking about the lyrics for Metal Kingdom of all things, because when I was talking about that song, I was like, you know, I'm seeing a few sort of similarities to some of the later songs that I made a comparison to Divine Attack and to Monochrome. I think those are the only two that have been out. It's like, I think what we're seeing here with this song is setting the stage for this story, sort of an introduction to it. And I still stand by that. This is the bookend to that. This is, once again, sort of a callback to everything else on the album, and is closing out this story, is an outro, a reflection upon it all. So I'm just going to dive, I'm not going to dive too much into specific meaning with this song, since it mostly is, as I'm reading it, just sort of a conclusion and a wrapping up of what we have on this album. But I am going to talk somewhat in depth about a lot of the comparisons and a lot of callbacks that I'm seeing. So, verse 1, now close your eyes until it's time to depart. That right there calls back to Divine Attack, right? The time has come, stand up. I forget the specific lines, like, talk about going down this journey, going down this road, that kind of thing. So, similar to there, and close your eyes until it's time to depart, calling back to that. In a long-lasting dream, a lot of dream elements on this song, very heavy in Maya, I believe it was, but it appeared throughout the album. Dreaming, I looked back at the lyrics and it popped up in Metal Kingdom. Pretty sure it popped up in Light and Darkness as well, if I remember correctly. So yeah, very common theme in the sound, or very common imagery in the album, dreaming. And then searching for fragments of your soul. I think calls back to this idea of searching for identity, that kind of thing. Something we saw a lot in the album. Mirror Mirror had elements of that. Light and Darkness had very heavy elements of that. Believing actually had elements of that as well. And real quick, I want to just extend a thank you to all the Baby Metal folks who have knowledge that I don't, and who comment on my videos and correct things and expand upon things, because y'all made me realize that, yeah, that song really is about sort of Baby Metal as a whole. I was reading it just specifically through the lens of the story. Y'all brought in a new perspective that never even crossed my mind. And there is an element of sort of shifting identity within that as well. So yeah, searching for fragments of your soul, a very common theme on this album. Aiming for the shining universe, I think just in general, ties into the whole Metalverse kind of idea here. Perhaps even a callback to Metal Galaxy. Possibly. I think we could stretch that to be that point. It's timeless and spaceless. Beyond the Stars, time and time again ties into Time Wave, and again, just the traveling the Metalverse story we're getting through this album within the chorus, and I love that chorus, I just gotta say. Verse 2, far, far to the furthest, far, far, never-ending journey, once again reminds me of Divine Attack. Stepped out to our dreams, dream reference again, is a very common theme. Always with tears, always with laughter, reminds me a bit of Light and Darkness, that sort of duality there. And I guess that was a theme in Mirror Mirror as well, now that I think about it. Yeah, duality and juxtaposition, and things such as our dreams from those days. Once again, dream reference remains unchanged even now. And then the chorus again, miracle shines and illuminates the universe, calls to mind. Monochrome, what color can we paint the night sky? The monochrome firework lighting it up, that kind of thing. That's the callback I'm getting there. Timeless and spaceless, beyond the stars, time wave again, and then we are the legend. Callback to the one, which I'll talk more about those similarities in the music in a little bit, but just a callback to the one. But then the wrapping up of the story, and of course a callback to what the song is as well. And as a wrap up to the story, I think what this is saying is it's taking everything that happened and putting it together. It's that final act summarization and conclusion, and talking about the sort of mythological, legendary nature of this journey they took. They have become something of legend by undergoing this journey, perhaps undergoing this transformation over the journey, something we saw in some of the songs, right? Yeah, just beautiful, into it. And this song, if memory serves correctly, and y'all please correct me if I am wrong on this point, being the fool that I am, I did not think to fact check it before undergoing the filming process of this video. But if memory serves correctly, this was the song that was symbolized by the coffin, right? And so with that in mind, you have a coffin representative of death, representative of sort of the end for the final track on the album. I think is quite fitting, but perhaps this is also representative of the end of what BABYMETAL used to be, tying back into sort of the band specifically. Perhaps the end of the old BABYMETAL, ushering in a new age, something like that. I'm not sure what exactly to grab to fully back up that idea, but I feel like there's some elements of that we can go and bring in as well. So, just in general, fantastic ending to this album, to this story, and to this journey. And I think as a farewell to sort of the BABYMETAL duo of Sue and Moa, since of course I can only assume that whatever will be released next will feature Momoko on it. I think very, very fitting end to that era of BABYMETAL and their journey. Yeah, again, just beautiful, beautiful stuff. To shift into talking about the music. I mean, again, very beautiful stuff. We'll go through the specific elements first. Vocals might actually be the best on the album. Sue's vocals just incredibly powerful. They brought in the emotion that every other track on this album, even the ones that did get quite emotional, right? Monochrome and Light and Darkness come to mind for that. Still, just this is perhaps a personal taste thing instead of a legitimate criticism, a legitimate flaw. But those ones felt like they just slightly missed the mark. Here, we got that emotional punch that I was desperately hoping for, and just incredibly powerful. And of course, I've said this throughout this journey, that Sue Metal just has an absolutely beautiful voice, and we saw that showcased here as well. And the backing vocals that I can only assume were provided by Moa, fantastic, added a lot of depth to what was going on in the music. Amazing, absolutely amazing. I loved those. The guitar, somewhat subtly used, right? This was not a particularly guitar-heavy song. Like, that was not the main feature of the music in this. What we got with the music was more different elements coming together to create just this broader sort of soundscape, instead of one thing necessarily coming too much to the forefront at any moment. So that's why I say it's not a particularly guitar-heavy song, but we had some great moments, a bit more just standard, sort of I don't know if power metal would be the right subgenre, but a very baby metal sounding guitar elements during the chorus, of course, bringing in a bit more heaviness and a bit more a bit more volume in terms of size, not sound, if that makes any sense. And then we had that guitar solo, fantastic. Wish it had been a little longer, but fantastic. Yeah, guitar in this, not a lot to talk about with it, but great, great guitar. Bass, very subtle, did not really hear it, but I could kind of pick up on it a little bit. It was solid. Wish it had been a bit louder in the mix. That's been one of my biggest complaints and one of my biggest criticisms with this album is the bass is just very hard to make out, and I absolutely love the bass. So I wish it was more apparent. Not sort of crazy loud, crazy in the forefront, overwhelming, just a bit more apparent, you know? The bass, yeah, a little underwhelming, but nice in this song. Drums were phenomenal. Might actually be my favorite off of the album. I don't know if I conveyed this properly during the reaction portion, but I was blown away by the drums here. Those are just incredibly powerful. Loved the drums on this. Electronic elements, ow. Electronic elements, super good. Much like the backing vocals that I mentioned, they added a lot of depth to the music. We had the sections prior to each chorus, the quieter section that had that one sort of almost guitar-sounding synth that had a really cool sound, and then I'm pretty sure that the rest of the track just had some general sort of atmospheric electronic elements. Very, very cool stuff. And finally, saxophone. Oh, that was sweet. I love a good saxophone in metal. Rivers of Nile are quite popular for that. Another good band I will recommend, if y'all are after that, is White Ward, a Ukrainian black metal band, if memory serves correctly. They incorporate some saxophone into their stuff, and it's incredible. And I believe one of A Pale Horse Named Death's songs incorporates some saxophone as well. Die Alone, I think it was. I'll double check that and edit it on screen. But it's something that doesn't happen too often in metal, but I love when it pops up. I was listening to a couple other songs recently with some good saxophone. The live version of Fight Man that a Cassiopeia and T-Square did. Amazing saxophone in there. And then earlier today, I was listening to Population Control Mechanism Mark II, I want to say the title is, by Irving Force. Again, proper title edited on screen, if I've got it wrong. But yeah, super good saxophone in that. So I was in a saxophone mood already. Hearing it in here, oh, incredible. Real highlight of the song for me. I think y'all could see just how much I got into that. That was absolutely beautiful. So to talk about the song as a whole, again, incredibly strong emotions in this. Very, very similar sound-wise to the one. I heard a lot of folks say this was essentially the one of the other one. That sounds weird phrased like that, but I'm sure y'all understand what I'm trying to say. But yeah, very similar to the one, especially that final line, "We are the legend." Feels like it came right out of sort of like the demo sessions for that. The demo sessions for that, I suppose. So that was just a very similar song, right? A bit of a slower song, slightly more progressive, more emotional, a bit calmer, perhaps. A lot of similarities to be made between the songs. So yeah, that was excellent. That was excellent. I think having sort of the one for this form of baby metal, if that makes any sense, I think is great. We had the one for the original lineup, we had one for this lineup, and I'm hoping we'll get one for the current lineup of Sumoa and Momoko. I would love to hear that. Well, I'd love to hear them tackle this idea again. I almost want to say this is actually the best song on the album, purely musically speaking. Monochrome is still my favorite. Again, heavily biased because, you know, history music gets me super excited. Heavily biased in that aspect. But I think if we're talking purely on the musical level, I think this one wins. I think this one had enough different elements coming together that it had a lot of that sort of classic baby metal magic while really bringing in a lot of new stuff as well. Callbacks to some older stuff without feeling like just a repeat. A lot of just great individual elements, and then everything came together pretty much perfectly. But I do have one complaint. This was a song that had a lot of different movements within it, a lot of different elements, and it's... Oh, what's the run length on this one? It is... Hold on, I gotta get out of this advertisement so I can actually see. It is 4 minutes and 18 seconds, according to the upload here on YouTube. That is not enough time to sit with that. I think this needed to be about 5.5 to 6 minutes, and honestly, I would have loved something like even up to like 8 minutes long. I'm sure some people would have complained about that. That is a fairly decently sized run length. I enjoy long songs, right? I've got about 3 or 4 songs in my mix that are like over 20 minutes long, and several more that are over 15. So I love a good long song, right? So that, I mean, that's something that would have made me very happy. But I think beyond just personal taste, I do think what we got here was a lot of different elements. You know, a great guitar solo, saxophone coming in, beautiful chorus, great more atmospheric elements. That it just felt like we were doing one thing and then we were doing another thing, and the transitions were great, the individual elements or individual sections were great. But I feel like having more time to sit with all of this would have just elevated it to the next level. Like, this is like, I'll put this in tier list terms. This is already like an S tier song for me. I absolutely loved this. I think if it had been just a bit longer, we'd been able to sit with this stuff a little more, this would have gone up to whatever tier you want to put above S tier. I'm going to say S plus because saying SS, which I've seen some people do, is just not great. But yeah, that is really my one complaint with this, is it was a bit too short to really sit with the stuff. There's other things that have been great, right? We had that saxophone part, so perhaps a bit more of a jazzy kind of sound in this in general would have been really cool, right? Perhaps bringing in like a really heavy section, if you want to go full prog, would have been cool. That probably would have actually hurt the song, but could have been cool. Just heavier utilization of Moa's vocals would have been cool, but that's all stuff that, like I said, would have been cool, but wouldn't necessarily help the song, and in the case of, you know, the heaviness that I mentioned, may actually have hurt it. So the one thing that I think is actually a failure, or more accurately, a flaw in this song, I won't go so far as to call it a failure, a flaw in this song, is the shorter run length. And we've seen some longer songs from Baby Metal before, right? I mean, on the live albums, stuff can be quite lengthy, but on the studio albums, we've had several that are about 5 minutes or so, which is, I think you can get to the point where, you know, unless you're really doing something special, that's plenty long, right? Most songs tend to be around 3 to 4 minutes from what I see. But yeah, just to wrap up the ramblings, little on the short end, would have loved to see it be a bit longer, but aside from that, pretty much perfect, and absolutely beautiful, chock full of emotion, so many different elements that, again, just fit together beautifully. I think this is easily one of the best songs I've reacted to on this channel. That is a bold claim, right? I mean, that is going up against everything I've heard from Sleep Token, because all their stuff is deserving of that. The Force of Courage by Galnerius that live performance was beautiful. Other songs that I'm not thinking of, but there's others that have been just phenomenal, but it may be a bold claim, but I think this is easily if not the best song I've heard on the channel, which I wouldn't go quite so far as to claim that. I honestly do want to say that The Force of Courage is probably the best one I've checked out here. There is so much cool stuff happening in that. At least as far as the listening experience goes, that was just a blast. I think that may actually be the most fun I've had reacting to a song. But I'd say this is honestly easy, like, top 3 songs I've checked out on the channel. This is just absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I'm out of ramblings. I'm very sad to see the end of this reaction journey. But, man, what a way to end it off. That was... oh, that absolutely beautiful. But I am out of things to say on these songs, so y'all know the drill. We're actually back to checking out the picker wheel. Again, we got briefly interrupted. Man, I shifted in sort of the presentation and energy, didn't I? I shifted out of the really emotional section. Man, I'm just back to YouTube, excitement. I've lost my train of thought. We're doing the picker wheel, figuring out what we're checking out next time. Let's give it a spin, see what we get. I did not do the timing right. Let's give it a spin. That's a little delayed, but sure, it'll work. I can sync that up fairly well. Up to a lot of things on here, 53 songs right now. WR1, Wagamama Rakia again. Very nice live performance from them. I have no idea what song that is. Maybe Gravity Game, but I'm not confident on that at all. I think WR2 is Gravity Game. It was Jinx on the list. I don't know if I checked out Jinx. I know Devil's Gimmick wasn't. Maybe it was one of their older songs. Survive, maybe? I don't know. It's a Wagamama Rakia live performance. You've checked out 2 from them in the past, which have just been fantastic. They're a super good group. Yeah, I do not know what song that will be, what performance that will be at all, but it will be very, very good. I can say that with utmost confidence. Yeah, very, very excited about that. I would have hoped for perhaps, if we stick with the alt-idol stuff, perhaps some Accident or one of the Acilio songs on the list would have been phenomenal, but Wagamama Rakia, no complaints there. Yeah, I am out of things to say now, so thank you all for watching. Be sure to like if you liked, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below with your own thoughts of the track, any feedback or criticism, or anything you want me to react to. In the description, link to the song so you can check it out, support the artist, link to my Baby Metal videos playlist, my alt-idol reactions playlist, my rock and metal reactions playlist, and my Japanese music reactions playlist, so you can check out some similar content from me, and then links to my Discord server, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify playlist of all the songs I've reacted to, at least the ones up on Spotify, and my link tree, which has all my other stuff in it, in case any of that interests y'all. Anyways, like I said, it's, what is happening? Why can I not speak? Anyways, like I said, that's going to do it. So once again, thank y'all for watching, and until next time, I'll be seeing ya.